right. Welcome to the Ultra High Net Worth Clients Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broadhead. We started this podcast as a way to create a central resource of the best financial advisor practice growing tips shared by the most outstanding advisors in the industry, of which our guest today is definitely one. These outstanding financial advisors agree to be on the show and provide a ton of value for free, all in the hopes that our audience might learn from their words. My father was a financial advisor, and financial advisors are the main clients we serve. So my marketing agency's mission is to help every financial advisor grow their business in an effort to help the world become more financially secure. Today, we have the rare pleasure of talking with an incredible financial advisor, Ann Austin. Ann, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Chris, thanks for having me on your podcast today. I really appreciate it. Great opportunity to speak to others and, maybe help them in their practice a little bit. I have been in this business 26 years now and love it. I don't think I can do anything else at this point in my life. It's what I know how to do. And I love the business. I got into it because I grew up without a lack of financial security, and I didn't really like that. So as an adult, I really wanted to educate myself and others on how to be financially free, and went through a bit of a process to get there. Started with a couple of banking interviews, thinking that would make sense to help people financially. And after a couple of those interviews, I just realized banking really was not for me. I didn't think I would enjoy it. So I graciously declined the second job offer, explaining that, I just didn't think it was a good fit. And that particular banker happened to pass my resume over to the financial advisor at the time. And he interviewed me, hired me. At the time, I was 21. And I jumped in and started getting licensed by the time I was 22. And I've been working on different financial advisor teams over that next 20 years. But in 2019, I decided to build my own book of clients. And today I have some wonderful clients. I'm truly grateful for them. And many of them are my friends now. So makes my day exciting. I go to work, see what kind of opportunities are in front of me. Who do I get to help and with what? And it's great. It's meaningful work.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that. We've I've conducted 80 plus advisor interviews so far, and that that type of answer where it's like, I wanted there to be less financial insecurity in the world, like that. I get that answer so often, and I love it. And it's doing this podcast, it has helped me realize like just how important advisors are to like the health of a community. If you don't have financial health, like maybe your physical health being bad would be worse, but so that's great that you aligned, a personal experience, something that was very important and valuable to you, and that was very motivating for you to start down that path in your career. Can you talk about kind of getting momentum in this industry? Like finding your first clients, like really just figuring it out. Like I know that's kind of the make or break those first 3 years, right?
Right. It's definitely a challenge, because it takes time. People don't just meet you and have you manage their life savings. That does take time to build relationships. And I didn't really want to cold call. I don't think that's attractive to most people. They don't like it. So I decided to become a part of other programs, other networking opportunities, so that I could build relationships. Now, one of the programs I became a part of was the Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. That helped me align with people who were already on that path to become financially free. And I was just sort of an extension of that. So that was really fun, and getting to meet people that already were working through some baby steps. I've also been a part of my local chamber of commerce. I've served on their board. So just networking with local business owners in my small town But I also participate in BNI. It's Business Networking
Mm-hmm.
International.
Mm-hmm.
I do lean a little more toward that particular setting because it is a meeting every week of like-minded business owners. And we're getting to know one another, build trust, and pass referrals to each other. They're referring a lot of times their friends, their family, their clients to me, and vice versa. And I feel like there's no greater compliment than someone entrusting you with their friends and family. So I love that setting where we are building trust and learning about one another.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, those BNI groups can be very very effective, and I think they're great for like building like a friendship group as well. Um, yeah,
They are.
yeah,
Anyone you
yeah,
spend that much time with, you're going to build some friendships with, and
yeah.
that makes passing business really easy because you know who you're passing business to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and you become like a like a superhero group. You're like, there's no service that we can't help someone with. Like,
Yes. Yes. And there are other groups as well. So if we don't have someone in a particular industry in our group, we can go outside of our group and
yeah,
get a reputable, company to work with. So it
yeah.
has actually been pretty helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So as you as you grew your practice, did any kind of type of client kind of keep showing up? Did you find yourself, attracting a certain niche type of client? I'm always curious, if advisors kind of identify any similarities amongst their clients.
Yes, I think I have sort of fallen into a little bit of a niche. I didn't choose it. I just, it did appear to me. And I think that is working with women specifically, and
Mm-hmm.
particularly women who are going through difficult transitions, such as passing of a loved one, divorce, situations where they really need someone to come alongside and advise, help through that transition, but also be sensitive to their timeline. Not everyone works at the same pace. Some people want to jump in and just solve all the problems at once. Other people want to take them in bite-sized chunks. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where I've shined in the past, is with women who really needed someone to come alongside and set up a timeline and keep the task in front, but be sensitive to how they want to work through it. So I would say that's probably the first niche that sort of popped up. And the second one really being families who want to pass wealth through the generations, and they want to have everyone involved. It's not just mom and dad, but it's mom and dad and children and grandchildren, and they want to have those conversations and open dialogues about how to preserve the wealth, how to pass it on, how to be charitable. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's another great place.
Mm. That's awesome. The the women in transition niche, I think that's such a powerful place to focus, especially like as a woman advisor. I think that's, this is a very male dominated field. So it's like, you know, you could have much more perspective
Mhm.
for what they're going through. So that's not only helpful from a financial standpoint, but from a emotional standpoint. So that's really that's awesome. That's great. Awesome, awesome. So um and as you kind of grew your practice, um you decided in 2019 to go the independent route. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I work for a larger firm, so I have really the benefit of both. We work in
Mhm.
an independent office within a larger firm, So I have all the lovely bells and whistles of a great compliance department, backing me, helping protect our clients. We have a legal department. We have all the technology that one could want when working with an advisor. So we have all of those great bells and whistles, but we do work in an independent office. There's three advisors and three assistants in our office. So it has that very small town feel. We actually work out of a historic home in a small town, downtown area. So our clients love it.
Oh,
It's just
beautiful.
very
Yeah.
comfortable and homey. And so I really do get the best of both worlds. We get to run like a small business and do things for our clients in that way, but we also have the support of a larger firm behind us.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, my father worked for Raymond James as well for 25 years or so. Um yeah, great company. I think,
Firm.
he started so long ago. I want to say he told me he was like the either the 47th or like the 87th employee. And there's what, like
Right.
50,000, 80,000 employees now.
It's a number. I think
It's huge.
advisors, maybe the last number I saw was around 8,000
Okay.
advisors.
All right. All right.
I'm not sure if that's
Okay.
all the channels, but
Yeah.
all the advisors working for the firm. So that's pretty outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, his just his Raymond James stock, I think he was like, I'm set. I was like, nice work. Way to get in early, Dad.
That's all. Yeah, it's a great firm. They are client
Yeah.
first in their mentality, and that's a lot of why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk about because obviously I'm sure a lot of firms were trying to attract your talents. Can you talk about why you chose Raymond James?
So interestingly enough, I didn't start with Raymond James. I started in a bank channel, so it was Regions Investment back in the day, but I've never actually changed firms per se. Uh,
Okay, gotcha.
Regions sold out to, or actually bought Morgan Keegan and replaced the Regions Investment channel a number of years ago. And then eventually sold off that Morgan Keegan piece and to Raymond James. So I've been Regions Investment, Morgan Keegan, Raymond James,
Hmm.
but those were all through mergers. So I've actually never changed firms.
Okay, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
along the way, all of those firms were very client first minded. So once we landed with Raymond James, back when that merger happened, I want to say 2012, it just sort of continued that culture and that mindset that I've always enjoyed. So I
Hmm.
have no intention of leaving. I do get calls regularly, trying to attract a female advisor on teams, but I'm perfectly happy right here with the culture.
Awesome, awesome, cool, cool. Yes. So, in addition to the BNI groups and the um, referrals, are there any other um, effective ways to network with and meet potential new clients?
I think there are, and it's different for every advisor. Interestingly enough, one of my favorite clients came from LinkedIn. And
Hmm.
I just think it's a neat story. So I'll share that.
Yeah,
You
please.
just never know. I haven't put tons of energy into LinkedIn. I have it. I share information here and there. But I had a message from someone on LinkedIn one day, and he basically just said, hey, I don't live in your state, but my sister does. Her husband has passed, and I would like to interview some financial advisors on her behalf because she's going through the stress of losing a spouse and just doesn't really have the time or capacity to do that. So he did. He interviewed me and two other advisors and picked a favorite, but handed over to his sister and let her interview the three of us. And they picked the same favorite, which was me. And I'm grateful for that.
Naturally, naturally.
Yes, naturally. So earned that business. And she is one of my all-time favorite clients. So sweet. We worked through the process of consolidating assets over about a year. And
Hmm.
now she has become just a great client. She's an amazing human. I'm working with her children now as well, which is just sort of, perfect. It's the perfect end goal. And but unexpected for me to get that message off LinkedIn and meet such a wonderful person and someone that just makes my day brighter when I meet with her. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's not something I put a lot of energy in, but you just never know, I guess is what I would say. You never know where clients are going to pop up. So,
Yeah.
early on in your practice, you try a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, I think that that speaks to your LinkedIn and it sounds like her brother was a, caring person, looking out for his family.
Mhm.
And like attracts like, so, that
Yes.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Mhm.
That's great. That's great. So uh for any of our listeners out there who are, up and coming female advisors, any advice for, I know this is a male dominated industry, so I'm always very excited to get a female perspective here as well. Any advice for, succeeding in this industry that skews heavily, to one side.
Right. So I think it's being coachable. I've had some great coaches, some of them provided through Raymond James, some of them outside of Raymond James. I'm actually part of the Women's Leadership Alliance, which is a group of women financial advisors that are there to support one another and give feedback on how to grow your business, how to provide great service. So that's a fabulous resource for women. They should definitely check into that. But I think a lot of it is coaching and just having accountability with other female advisors who have gone before. And like I said, I've had some amazing mentors, a couple of longtime advisors who have poured into me and helped me get to where I am. So I think that's really important to not only receive that coaching, but then eventually to give that coaching to others. So where I have been
Hmm.
mentored, I now mentor others.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, keeping that good streak alive. As far as coaching and mentorship, can you share some of the guidance or insights or advice that your mentors shared with you?
Sure. I mean, it's been a range. Some of that is linked to being minority in a male-led profession,
Yeah.
just how to find your place and how to take your place. Because we've moved in this business from being very transactional, where, 25 years ago, you picked up the phone and called people repeatedly to get your business. And now it's very relational. So just standing firm on what works for me as an individual and what works for the clients that I'm seeking. So just being confident in not feeling the need to pick up the phone and make cold calls. That's a thing of the past and just trudging forward in things that work for me. Uh, how to build my practice, how to give great customer service. I've talked through all those things with other advisors, building portfolios. We've had brainstorming sessions about things like that, things that are best practices for clients. So it really can range. Even work life balance, that's a huge thing. I feel like not just for women, it gets targeted a lot for women, but it's important, I feel like, for men too, to have a
Hmm.
work life balance and to be plugged in. If there's wife and children at home, husband and children at home, it's very important to have some balance.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I understand you have two boys, and you're both or you're all taekwondo aficionados.
So I do have two boys. My oldest son and I did taekwondo together. Had a great time getting our black belts and working
Wow,
through.
you're a black belt. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks. We had a good time. It was something we bonded over, and it was, very good for him at his particular stage in life, and good for me, trying to get back in shape after having the second child. So, we had a good time doing that. My youngest did not start taekwondo, but he wrestles and plays football, so there just really wasn't a need.
Cool. Okay.
And
Man,
we're
you
baseball in
got
there.
some athletic genes there.
We do. Our kids love
Yeah.
athletics. My oldest now, he was a wrestler as well, but he's a rock climber and a skateboarder now. So they love to be outdoors and indoors, just doing physical things. And so we stay pretty
Yeah.
busy. I might work occasionally from the sideline of a wrestling mat. It's great.
That's awesome. And you can you got your taekwondo skills. You can be like, sweep the leg.
Yes. It does kind of make me a tough mom. My boys have grown up
Yeah.
with a lot of expectations.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, getting back to working with women in transition,
Mhm.
that I think that is um a rewarding niche to focus on. I think that's an underserved niche. To and I hate to call it a niche. That sounds so transactional, like group of people. Um, is there a specific way to best help those folks? Like are there specific issues or ways to communicate that seem to make the biggest positive impact?
The first word that comes to my mind is building confidence. Some
Hmm.
of the women that are in these situations were not the financial gurus in the house. So they're learning how to take control of their finances. Some of them were the financial gurus, but a lot of them aren't. So really trying to instill some confidence in them that you can do this. Like this is within your grasp. I will give you support and help, where you need it. And, we'll look for some retirement planning, make sure that they know that what they're doing they have a plan and they have a focus and that they're working toward it. So I think that can be really helpful and being patient and letting them work through all the emotions associated with the transition, because that can be difficult for widows and for divorcees. There's a lot going on there. And I've seen in the past where oftentimes the women is particularly a stay-at-home mom situation. They may not be willing or ready to stand up for themselves and
Hmm.
take what was is rightfully theirs. And I hate to say
Hmm.
it that way, but you know, there is a division of assets that has to occur, and sometimes they have been guilted into thinking that that's not you know,
Hmm.
theirs. And so
Hmm.
some of that revolves around, okay, that is your asset, or half of that is your asset, and how do we use that? And explaining that not all assets are the same. And so that division needs to be addressed. A home is not the same as a financial, investment account. It's not the same as an IRA. And so just sitting down and breaking down those assets and how they can use them in what is fair and equitable is sometimes pretty important.
Awesome, awesome. I just did it again. I didn't see the recording. I was like, did I not record? But it doesn't even show up until you move your cursor. Like, why, Zoom? Why?
It's just
Why
playing
must
with
you
you,
give me these panic attacks? Um,
keeping you on your toes, right?
always. Never a dull moment. That's that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like, I mean, just outside the nuts and bolts, that could be the most like important relationship they have during the transition. That could make the difference between uh a a good life, a great life, and like a you know something beneath that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's incredibly valuable and important, and I'm sure rewarding as well to be that ally. You're like, I can't believe I get paid to like
Yeah, to help women.
to help.
Yeah. No,
This
I
is
love it. That's a fun day in
awesome.
the office. It can be a bit stressful from time to time. Situations are not always easy, but yes, it's very, very rewarding work. I call it a
Hmm.
win-win. It's good for me. It's very rewarding for me, but also uh, very helpful and timely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Great. Well, we are coming towards the end of our time. This has been an absolute pleasure. You have built a beautiful practice with a lovely family, and you got a black belt to back it up. And my final question is an open-ended question. You can take it in any direction that you like. And that question is, what are you working towards?
That is a good question.
Thank you.
Well, working toward building my practice,
Hmm.
just continuing to grow my practice, serve my community, raise good young men for the
Yes.
world. One
Yes.
of them has grown and working and making his way, but that's just a huge goal is for us to release independent men into the world from our house.
Hmm.
Working to have a great marriage and just do good things for the world, give more to the world than I take.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And you are definitely talking living the talk. Walking the talk. I was about to say talking the talk. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So yes, you are doing all that, and very very excited to continue seeing you help help these folks on your journey. This is incredible. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me and my audience. And where can the listeners find out more about you?
So website is first and foremost raymondjames.com/Ann Austin, and with no E. And I have a Facebook page and a LinkedIn page for my business. So they can certainly do a little checking out there. And those are Ann Austin Financial Advisor. So I would love for people to check out some of the information I share. I try to put things there, articles there that I feel like help people. So
Awesome, awesome, and we'll be sure to link to those in the show notes. And thank you so much for taking the time. This was a real pleasure. You're just an awesome person, and an amazing business owner. So, thank you so much. And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.
all right. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Service Advisors, Inc. Beckett and Associates Investment Services is not a registered broker dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.